Yo, how are you all doing? This is Labra at MMA, yes sir, and I am here to make a fight review video on myself this time. I usually don't review my own fights on here and break them down, but I'm here to review my debut as well as my first win in the ESFL. And we're just gonna sit back and we're gonna look at what I did wrong and right in both of these fights and what I could have done better, so you all can understand how to analyze and look back at what you did, so that you can have a better time understanding how to improve. All right, so this is my first fight. This was my debut in the ESFL. Man, what was tough about this fight, I hadn't played on Xbox in so long, so I had to get used to the controller again. That's not an excuse, because to be honest, the controller felt pretty good in my hands, so not at all is that the reason why I performed the way I did, but here we are. So right away, I am Israel Adesanya. My opponent, Dizinho, is Anderson Silva. Right away, I'm seeing that a lot of straight and linear punches are not going punished. So I'm just kind of letting him throw his jab out there. And I do understand right there that it is easier said than done. As you can see, me kind of getting chopped up in the pocket. So yeah, I'm just kind of a punching bag whenever he throws those jabs and straights. Probably some slip straights. Good head movement there. I got a shot off right there. Punch to the body. Combinations. What he's doing an excellent job of are his counters and his reads, man. He's also containing me really well. I honestly probably would have wanted to see if I could command a bit of pressure. Maybe use my rear side kick to get off of the cage, because I think being as passive as I was not the best move. But he is on point. I think right there I had the realization, okay, I got to get off the cage. But he was on point. As soon as he saw that jab, he anticipated the side kick. I think I try for it again here. Try to see if he opens up there for the check hook, and he does not. Beautiful pull. I have to reset the stamina, and while I do, he pressures me. So he's kind of just walking me down. I have all right defense, but that's not enough. I'm not finding any luck. I think the biggest thing, what I'm saying, is that I'm not going to the body against him enough or efficiently, especially with how he's closing down the distance. There are times where I could probably open up some shots. It's a little footwork battle here. Probably throws nice. I don't think I should. Yeah, that right there was very, very silly. Let's look at this again. All right, so right here, as you can see, I lose this trade very obviously. Instead of going back and resetting, I go for the trade, and I put myself at risk. Kind of obvious block high that I do not get. And then, yep, now we're here. So, yep, and that's where the finish happened. Man, so that's how my debut went. I think the biggest issue is that I didn't try to pressure at all. It looked like an Izzy versus Sean Strickland if Israel Adesanya got, finished by the 1-2 down the middle type of thing, So I think the biggest thing, honestly, from that fight was I just was not confident, nor was I willing to pressure and really get my shots off. I did a lot of back foot work, waiting for him to come to me, seeing what openings I would see on the timings, instead of forcing him to make reads on me. Nonetheless, let's get into this next fight. Now, this next fight is against LW Gangsta, and it's a good player. I played a lot of games with him in UFC 4. Before the fight, I went ahead and I looked at his play style, and right away it told me, okay, I think there's a lot of gaps that I can see that I can take advantage of. Now, looking back a few seconds ago, right away there are things that I don't necessarily like about what I did, and I'll tell you here. So this is me going into my next fight, 0-1, and I went for the Pereira just because he was open, and he's a very good kickboxer, has good power, and the opponent I'm going against very, very much willing to trade is what I knew about him. So I said, you know what, Alex is a good pick. If I knew he was a back foot fighter or I had to mix in the grappling, probably would have went a DDP. But yeah, so went ahead and I went for the Alex pick, and let's get right into the fight. So right here, very calm, starting off with the body shots. Very good body kick from him. Doubles up on the lead hook. Reminds me of Webcam a little bit with how he does that. And right there's a good trade from him. Nice front kick up the middle. Probably should have reset. Yep, and I do right here. Okay, I do a little reset there. So as you can see, a lot better decision making versus my last fight. Another uppercut up the middle. Now that uppercut off of that lead hook is beating me up. Take my times with the feints, rolling with the check hook, and there's the slip off the lead hook. All right. Yep, and there's the back step, and I get my first knockdown. Now here I'm feeling really confident, continuing forward. Kind of put my hands down at times to jab straight down the middle to interrupt them, making them uncomfortable here. One thing I really don't like that I'm doing, and I'm going to break it down towards the end, but I feel like a lot of my slips are very unnecessary, like I'll show you here. So one thing I do a lot that I really like to do is I like to, as you can see here, I slip all the time, and that's to get out of the way of the check hook. The problem is he's not throwing the check hook here, so like right here, I believe I throw a jab hook, and then even though I'm open stance, let's see, boom, boom, I slip anywhere. I feel like maybe if I went ahead and I, depending on what I'm doing, didn't, necessarily just keep pre-slipping, I would have an easier time. So that's a self-critique. Probably slipping a lot less, especially due to the fact that I'm punching open stance. So all that is right there is a bad habit. Maybe the lead hook is a bit better, but he's not necessarily showing that he can block counter. So at the end of the day, the best thing to do, if there's something you're doing that's unnecessary, right? This just goes to show with everybody. If there's anything you do that is unnecessary, cut it out of your game wholeheartedly. Okay? All right. So right here, I'm feeling very confident, still slipping a bunch. Definitely want to cut that out. Yeah, there's no reason for me to be slipping right there. Yep, and right there, as you can see, let's go back over that and explain this whole thing and why it happened. So right here, one of my worst habits, man, has to be not countering when people block duck or block slip. And I probably slipped into that too, as I was doing a lot of slips in the fight. But as you can see right there, I did not reset or recover correctly, and I became a punching bag for that 4-piece and got dropped. So the biggest thing that I'll be working on, trying to master, like we said, first of all, that slip has got to go. It's a good little slip change for me. That slip has got to go, and I need to make sure, a little bobbleheading here, but I need to make sure that I am, reserve as much energy as possible. The less you do, the better. The more unnecessary movements you do, the more likely, some bobblehead here again, the more likely you are to get cracked or etc. So there it is. All right, moving on to the next round. I got the big knockdown at the end of the round, so I'm once again feeling confident. Locked in. No glove touch. I bet it was an actor. Who cares, though? Got some jabs straight down the middle. And I'm still doing that slip. Oh, big uppercut there for me. A little taking my time, letting him recover. Only reason I didn't go, always another back step there. I don't go for the jump. Just kind of composed. Kind of making fun of the bobblehead there, but that's aside. So the back step has really helped me throughout this fight. It's another rear hook. I hate how much I slip. I really do. I just hate that shit. And right there is the kill shot. He misses the front kick, totally out of range. And the half of a centimeter that I am out helps me get that knockout finish. Now, some critiques for myself. The biggest one, and I'll get into my loss, but my biggest critique comes from my win. That slip that I was doing every time that I had, hit the block was just a habit that I made after fighting check hook demon after check hook demon. Over time you just get so used to rolling with everything. But if someone doesn't show that they can check hook, it's best not to roll. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start paying attention to my opponent's skill sets. And if I can go without rolling and, burning stamina, I will. Okay, so that was a big thing. For my loss, I needed to be more aggressive for sure. Mixing the levels. I didn't go body at all, even though he was right in my face. I didn't mix up the levels, which made it an easy time for me to get block broken, and it made it near impossible for me to land anything. He didn't respect my striking because I didn't show him a reason to. And even if I went to the body, I wouldn't have shown him a reason for me to get respect, because a lot of the times, especially when we talk about body work, you have to get things like rocks. You have to get things like knockdowns to get the respect that you want. So for my next fights, I'm thinking about possibly going an MMA pick and mixing in my grappling a bit more, see where I am there. I need to definitely stop headhunting as much, start to work the body a little bit. And then besides that, I think, just making sure that I am in the right mental space when I'm playing. So probably doing things that will put pressure on me when I play, because I don't have a lot of time to play like I used to. So yeah, those are my 2 fights in my ESFL career. I will keep you all up to date. Every 2 fights, I'll let you all know how I'm doing. Hopefully this can be a start of a great run. And if you all have any advice in the comments for me, no matter the skill, if you notice something like, hey, you could have done leg kicks here, I'm open to any advice. The way that I give y'all advice, same way that I receive advice. No idea is dumb or stupid, so go ahead and let me know what y'all think.